Ronda, I know you knew when you signed up for this fight, the attention and everything that it was going to entail, but how has this lived up to your expectations? Do you realize it was going to be this big?
No, I didn't think it would be this big. It's a little bit surprising. I just feel bad that I can't get to everybody. You know, a lot of people go through a lot of trouble to come to these events and just see me for a few seconds, and I just don't have a few seconds for everyone. So to everybody that I missed, I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys taking the time, but there's only one of me.
With all the media obligations and everything that you had, have you been able to enjoy this process at all? Has it just been work, or has it been fun, you know, getting to experience all this?
Yeah, it's fun, but I'm going to sit back and enjoy it after I win, you know? I'm not going to sit back and be like, hey, everything's fabulous, and I still have the fight in front of me. The fight's the number one thing that's important, and then after that, I'll take a few moments to reflect and enjoy.
Liz, obviously a very respectful competitor, none of the trash talking, any of that. Do you like that? Do you like the fact that this is really more of a respectful build-up, or do you wish there was a little bit more of a rivalry or anything?
You know what? This is a historical event, and I think it's good that it's entirely positive. It doesn't need to be any kind of bickering to get attention. The event itself is together in its own. It's a first for the UFC, it's a first for women fighters, and an argument is not going to make it any more important.
Is there a lot of pressure on you to win this fight, given that you're pretty much the reason that he kickstarted off his division?
There's a pressure for me to win every fight. When I did judo, I had 5 to 7 matches in a day. You wouldn't make it to the final to fight for the gold medal unless you won the first round. So I treat every single match like it's the biggest deal. The first round of the day is as much pressure as the last round of the day, and I just thought of all these fights as a very staggered and elongated judo tournament. So no, I mean there's a lot more people around and a lot more attention, but when I'm fighting, I don't feel it.
Have you ever knocked out somebody in sparring or anything else?
I don't want to like.
Well, I wasn't asking you to brag. Do you know what it feels like to knock somebody else out? Like, have you ever done it? Some fighters, I remember when Matt Hughes retired, he said like that was his biggest regret is that he never got like that one punch knockout. Do you have that? Do you know what it's like?
That would still be giving it away, wouldn't it? My avoidance of the question is the answer in itself. Yeah.
Has there been anything in this process that's been overwhelming to you?
This is a little overwhelming, I don't know you guys. But no, I mean I could deal with it. I was expecting it to kind of be a little bit of a chaotic circus kind of thing, and met those expectations and a little bit more, but there's no amount of media, there's no loss of sleep, there's nothing that really can save Liz Carmouche from losing to me, so whatever. If this is the situation, I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to win anyway.
I'm sure you'll be glad to know your mom shared some good stories about you when she was out here. One of them was that she thought after you won the first title, the Strikeforce title, you might have gotten a little into buying your own hype, and she had a little sit down with you. Do you remember that? And is that something that
she has sit downs with me all the time? She thought I've been buying my own hype since I was 16 years old, and I always sound like, Mom, I trained so hard. Why can't you tell me that I'm doing good? She's like, don't think you're so awesome because of this, this, and this, and you're not as cool as you think you are. I've been hearing that since I was 16 years old. So no, that's the same speech that I've been getting periodically. Everyone's constantly like, it's my job to check her ego, and I'm like, hey, everybody is just telling me don't think too much of yourself. I'm like, I'm not, because everyone else is taking on the same job that you are. So I have to come to events like this for everyone to be like, hey, you're so cool, because when I go home, everyone's like, don't think you're so cool. So yeah, she did.
Ronda, does it make any sense to you? Can you justify Tito and Cyborg wanting to be released from the UFC?
No, I really don't see the sense in it at all, especially since Dana said he would let her fight Invicta and would pay all the bills in her purse and everything. So I think it's just a plea for attention and an attempt to try and stay relevant. I mean, she hasn't had a recorded win over 3 years, and the fight that she picked up is a chick that I beat in 26 seconds while I had 9 stitches in my foot from a pit bull bite 3 days before. And my mom hit me with a text the day that they announced that. She's like, unless she walks in and hits her and the other girl explodes, I'm not going to be impressed. So, I mean, I don't know what she's really trying to prove in this fight, because it's not going to prove anything, but maybe it's just the only chick they could find to pick it up.
Are you tired of hearing her name?
No, I mean, I'm really not tired of any of this as part of the job. I'm sure she's way more tired of hearing my name. I have a lot of things to do and a lot of other girls that are pulling at my attention, and believe me, she wakes up every single morning thinking about me, and that's going to make it impossible for her to hold on to any kind of game plan the day that we do fight. We good? Hey.
Well, I got one more. I asked you about the pressure on you, but do you think that a certain amount of pressure has been taken off of Liz, considering, everyone's kind of expecting you to...
Yeah, she has nothing to lose and everything to gain, and I have everything to gain and everything to lose. So there's always a whole lot more pressure on me. But I mean, I've always luckily been the kind of fighter that the more pressure there is, the more that I fight above myself. My best performances are always in my biggest tournaments, and I really don't expect this to be any different. So yeah, it's a bigger deal to me. I want more than her, and that's why I'm going to win.
Is keeping up your streak of winning by armbar, is that anything important to you, or is that just the way the fights have gone?
It's just the way the fights have gone. I just kind of follow the flow of the fight, and I don't really go for a specific thing. I'm not like trying to go after one thing that I want. I'm following my options, and so it could be that she's so overly aware of the armbar that it opens up other things. If someone's trying really hard to not get taken down, they're easier to knock out. If you're trying really hard not to get armbar, they're easier to get position on for a TKO. So, I mean, that happened when I was doing judo. I got a lot of armbars for a while, and then people started being so paranoid about it that I started pinning everybody because everyone was giving up position all the time. So I'm just staying open and going to try and adapt to the match.
In that way, like, is it important for you to show people that you have other things? I see mixed martial artists sometimes, they pick up new techniques, new tips. They want to show it. They feel like they need to show it in the cage. Or do you just go with what works?
Look, fighting is about what works. My mom had a whole bunch of different lines, and I would throw girls sometimes, and people would be like, "Oh, it's not pretty. That's not proper." My mom's like, "If it worked, it was right." That's all I really care about. So, I mean, it's a fight. If I'm winning the fight, I'm winning it as quickly and efficiently as possible without taking any damage, and I feel like that's the best way to try and win. I don't see how standing there and trying to go for a roundabout way of winning to try and prove a couple people that I've never met before, right or wrong. I mean, if I spend all my time trying to do that, I would never get anything done.
Can you explain how your style fits with your striking coach, Edmund Terverdian, and how comfortable you are working with him?
The thing with Edmund is he has done like every single striking art out there, so he's much more versatile and he's very, very good for MMA. And my first year of striking, I didn't do any, he didn't show me how to throw hands at all. We did entirely footwork. And so basically from now to the Misha fight, I have twice as much striking experience as I did a year ago. So I feel like I'm twice as better, if not more. And I'm really, really devoted to it. I'm not neglecting my grappling or anything at all, but I really want to get very, very good at striking. And he doesn't try to make me into the next Muay Thai guy or the next like boxing sensation. He tries to fit my striking style around my strengths, and I think that's what makes him so good at what he does.
And what's the diet been like leading up to the week of the fight? I know last time I saw you were slamming gross shakes and concoctions of kale and stuff like that. What's it been like leading up?
Oh, it's still very similar to that, and I still have my one meal a day. Actually, the last couple days of camp, I have to eat like 2 meals a day. Like the last couple days, I had 2 meals a day and like rice and stuff added, and I had to salt everything. And I'm drinking a lot of water, so they make it so I naturally bloat, and then my body just dumps all of it when we cut it out instead of having to sit in sauna. We don't sauna or dehydrate at all. We just let my body lose all the water naturally.
How does that feel compared to, have you ever had to cut weight in the sauna or anything like that?
Oh yeah, when I was doing judo, I had no help. I did it like, I'm gonna eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's on Monday, and then I'm gonna sit in the sauna for 3 hours on Friday, and then that'll totally work out. And yeah, that wasn't a very good idea. I had some terrible cuts, which is one of the reasons why I fought at 70 kilos instead of 63, so I was doing judo, because you had to weigh in weekend after weekend after weekend and have training camps in between. It's not like you had one weight cut that you would plan for, and then I had no nutritionist, no help. I would just get weighed every once in a while and yelled at if it was bad. So it was just much easier to fight at 154 instead of 138, just because I could make it on a regular basis and not have to deal with the dumb of a weight cut. But you could tell when you watch my Olympic videos, I'm a foot shorter than all the other chicks, like this in every single fight. But we found a way to make it work.
And I wanted to ask you as well, are you happy with the way the Primetime series has turned out so far?
Oh yeah, the Primetime guys, they're my favorite crew to hang around, and a lot of times it's just tiring of the tour to have a crew around you, and they made it easy. Mostly they bribed me with mixed CDs and jackets, but so I know my jacket obsession. But they're really cool. They're not like some robots that like try to make a joke and they're like.
Well, how does that compare to say the HBO crew and the ESPN crews that are in there like that?
I mean, I don't want to piss anybody off, but I mean the Primetime guys were much easier to like. I would hang out with them in my free time instead of being like, "Are you guys done with it yet? Okay, thank you for the help. See you later." I mean, the Primetime guys were really cool. If they came to town, we would probably want to call them up and hang out with them and get everything. Similar to Lazy Savage.
Holler.
Holler.